Good morning, everyone. This is Backyard Reads, and today we are talking about Storm in Paradise Valley by Charles G. West. First off, I got this book at a sale at a library for about 25 cents. You could probably find this on Amazon. Well, I think so. Well, you probably will, because this is like released about, I think, like a decade ago or something, a little over that. But yeah, and it's an author who's written a lot of Western books, apparently, over 40 since 2018. Okay, so this is probably a local or recent publishing, but it's about a lawman called Jason Storm, right? Who one day, after being sick of taking down all these old outlaws and seeing the aftermath of that, and the kind of dejected faces of parents who go like, oh, well, my son's a criminal, what, and kind of realizing that he's just gonna die one day for his crimes. And after that, he retires, and he sets off to build a new life of his without all the violence and the bloodshed of his previous life. So he sets up a kind of a ranch of his own when he comes along Paradise. He gets it going, and then, like typical Western fare, a gang of outlaws comes into town, starts causing a ruckus, and upturns his life and many overs upside down, and just causes hell. And eventually he makes he actively goes out and tries to take out these criminals, these gangs of outlaws. And yeah, it's a very actiony sort of book. One thing I would have to say going in is that this book, and maybe a few other of his and some other book westerns, is that you kind of have to have read, watched, or seen Western, like what it was. You kind of have to go on that sort of understanding, because it doesn't really describe too much of the land or of what life or something like that. But you really do get a sense of progression of this, of like trying to protect, of like people trying to build a new life, and how just one thing can just come along and just ruin it completely. And it's a very short read on top of that. Like it's about 220 pages. The prose is very simple. Like, often at times you would get a scene transition between like the little gap, right, or between paragraphs or blocks of paragraphs. Sometimes even within a paragraph, even it will even change perspective during a paragraph, which might be jarring at first. However, it's done in such a way where it's not that bad, and it's very simple to do, and you can shift just like that. And it's like, if you've seen a lot of Western films, then you kind of understand what the book will be like. It's not like the deconstructionist Westerns of, say, the 90s onwards, right? It's more of the classical 50s Westerns that you might be more fond of. And you got lots of, there's like shootouts, like saloons, general stores, like gangs of outlaws, cattle rustling, all these sorts of things. It's it's very typical, but it's a good read, and I'd say that's one of its best strengths. And if you wanted to get into westerns very easily, you couldn't go wrong with this. There might be other westerns that I like. I haven't read that many westerns. I've watched a few westerns, but I definitely want to read some more because I want to get a better understanding of like what it's like in the written form, and I'm no doubt that the written version will be very different. And it's like, but yeah, and so I would say this is a very beautiful book, and I do remember that like it's just very painterly and everything like that. It's just a good cover. It really does give that kind of almost pulpy vibe, if you know what I mean. This kind of pulpy, like Tarzan or of the Frank Frazetta, right? If you can find this book, you can definitely find this book on Amazon because it's a very recent sort of book, and and you might be able to find it in some drive-in stores like like a mouse, like I don't know where exactly, but um, now now again, this is a very American book, so because it's a western, so you're more likely to find it in easily in America than you would in outside of America, and so you would have to keep that in mind. Really good. So yeah, and that's my review of Storm in Paradise Valley. And I would recommend that there's like if you like this book, I think a good companion book would a good companion film. Well, not a companion film, but like a film that's definitely worth a watch is Jesse Wales. I think it's the Ballad of Jesse Wales, because you find that some of the characters in this book are from the what is it? Not the Union, the Confederates, right? And that a lot of Confederates and that like a gang of Confederates that raised a lot of problems in Missouri, and you find like Josie Wales, the Ballad of Josie Wales. I think it's Josie Wales. Um, is also a character of a Confederate who is Missouri fighting against the Union, and where those two things diverge is that Josie Wales is a is actually a pretty sympathetic understanding of a Confederate, right? And that it's a Confederate that is wants to get revenge on the Union, on the ruthless Union bandits, or the bandits that became Union soldiers, who just wanted to kill and pillage, right? Rape, kill, and pillage, and they were doing it in a lawful way, technically, because they were Union soldiers that were fighting the Confederates, and it's quite an interesting film. And it's something that I would definitely recommend anyone watch because it's just a very good western, and it gives a sort of it's a very generous look of a Confederate, because not every Confederate in reality would have fought for the exact same reasons as everyone else, and quite often or not, it probably there's quite a few people that wanted to fight because hey, the other side ruthlessly killed or ruined their life, and that's all they have, and they're doing it for revenge. But Josie Wales is very different because, in a way, it's very different because he actually wants to set up a new life for himself, just like Jason Storm here, right? And yeah, it's and like whereas the outlaws that you find in this book who fought in the Confederacy a lot of them are very bloodthirsty, vicious bastards that you just go like, yeah, you don't want to. Those are the kind of people that you don't want. You just don't want them around. And this is like the opposite of like the marauders who just wanted to rape, kill, and pillage, right? And it gives this, yeah. But it's otherwise just a very good book, and I would recommend most people should read westerns just to expand the reading vocabulary and to just get a better appreciation for just diverse media, because it's a bit more of an actiony, like whoosh. It can like go very fast, and you can read it very easily, and yeah. And so that's my review.